Hi, welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is Howie Felter, and this is my review of Knock Knock, Who's There? One thing I really enjoy and appreciate about living here is the way that people in Hong Kong manage to integrate their spiritual beliefs into their daily lives. You always see Guangdong statues in restaurants and shops. Buildings often have tiny little alcoves for shrines built right into the wall. People burn incense or other offerings on the sidewalk, and no one seems to notice or worry or complain. Part of this spirituality in Hong Kong is reflected in people's belief system. I say all of that because the Hungry Ghost Festival, like Halloween, believe it or not, seems to have become a tentpole for ghost movies. Last year there was Hungry Ghost Ritual. This year there's Knock Knock Who's There. Like 2013's Tales from the Dark, this movie is a collection of 3 stories which are tangentially connected by the characters in them. The film opens with an obviously distressed woman standing on a ledge on top of a building. I have no idea who she was, and I think it's just there to set the mood. I know that because that opening is completely separated from the first segment of the film. It's called Missing and stars Annie Liu as a young woman who's preparing to marry a very rich, young, handsome man. They leave their engagement party in a BMW and get chased by a photographer who's also in a BMW. Hey, I'm not mad. Movies don't pay for themselves. Well, since this is a ghost story, something terrible obviously happens, and we meet Baby John Choi, who works at a funeral home. I'd tell you more about the story, but I don't want to spoil anything. I will say that I enjoyed this segment, and it was more effective than I'd thought it would be. The makeup they put on Annie Liu isn't necessarily convincing, but logically it couldn't be if you think about it, but that's not my point. The makeup, if you watch it, is still pretty effective and creepy because of what I'm gonna non-spoilerishly call independence of moving parts. If you watch the movie, you'll see what I mean. It was just a nice little detail that kind of sold me. Some of the digital effects, they're a little hokey, but a lot of the others are actually quite good, and I like the visual aesthetic in a lot of them. The second segment is called Karma and features Kate Choi as an overly sensitive young woman who works in a shop making the paper offerings that people burn to the deceased. You can burn things to people, including cars, houses, servants, wristwatches, shoes. We first meet Kate earlier in the film when she was delivering some of these paper offerings to the funeral home where Baby John Choi works. She works in a shop for a couple played by Carrie and Simon Loy. The boss and her husband aren't very likable people. She gambles all the time, berates the help, and ends up doing something really incredibly cruel. Her husband just goes along with it. When Kate Choi's character discovers what happens, things go bad. Carrie was believably unlikable, and Simon Loy was more restrained than I've ever seen him. To be honest, I felt this was the weakest of the 3 segments of the movie, mostly because Kate Choi wasn't given much with which to flesh out her character. She just acted weird, badly. Her appearance didn't always help. I doubt these contact lenses were meant as an homage to Seeding of a Ghost, but it made me think of it, which was nice. So was seeing a movie poster for Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, except the movie poster was for the Italian release, so it was in Italian. The third and final segment is called Smell. Jennifer Tsai Ting Ting plays a young woman who works in the funeral home with Baby John Choi. She does the makeup for the deceased. One night she ends up in possession, no pun intended, of a phone that can send and receive messages from beyond. Again, I don't want to talk too much about the story, but I will say that it's surprising, shocking, and there was one moment that sincerely scared me. Smell is my favorite of the 3 segments, so I'm glad it's the last one of the movie. Jennifer Tsai, wearing jeans, Doc Martens, and a big puffy shapeless jacket, almost manages to look like a regular woman instead of the model that she is in real life. She gets put into some very weird and unusual situations in this segment, and I think she was very convincing. Eric Kwok was convincing too. He's a very good actor because if he's not acting, he needs to be locked up. One of my favorite moments of this segment and of the whole film is an epilogue involving 2 police officers and a grandmother. But the whole movie is kind of like that. The things we see in the movie, like the paper offerings, aren't relics of a bygone era. They're things that people still do and still believe in. I like this movie more than I expected to, and I can also say that it's better than I expected it to be. Carrie directed the film, and I think she did a very good job with it overall. I didn't care for Angel Whispers, but if she makes more movies like Knock Knock Who's There, I'll gladly watch them. Remember that woman that I talked about who's on the ledge at the beginning of the movie for no apparent reason? She shows up again at the end for no apparent reason, and I have no idea who she is or what she's doing, but I have a hunch that her name is Ivana Sequel. If you have a chance to watch this movie in a cinema, go see it. It's a lot of fun, especially if you're surrounded by a local audience like I was, some of whom get legitimately scared and respond accordingly. If you don't have that chance, wait till you can rent it or buy a disc. Don't steal this movie. When it gets released to home video, I'll update the description with a link where you could buy it. If you enjoyed my review, please leave a comment. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a comment. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and happy Hungry Ghost Festival. I don't know if you're supposed to say that. Part of this spiritual